Welcome back. We're on the final part of episode 76 here, where we're going to talk about the hot tags. And since I had said before, I didn't really prepare too much for this episode and all that kind of stuff. I only had one thing that I really wanted to talk about, and then I'm going to kind of let everybody else sort of take the ball and throw some topics out there. The one thing I wanted to talk about, Kofi Kingston wins the U.S. title.
He sure
Uh,
did.
that kind of comes out of nowhere from I kept saying that they should have had a U.S. title match at WrestleMania, and they should have had that be the title switch, and it should have been Kofi against Antonio Cesaro.
No, Kofi was much better fit on a pre-show as a host at a desk.
Oh God.
And but I didn't see after they didn't do that. I didn't think that that was going to be coming. Especially not Antonio Cesaro coming out yodeling to it. That was kind of awkward.
Yeah, it's like they stripped away everything about his gimmick of being the anti-American, basically, and then decided to come out yodeling.
I like if they call
he's on a character change path. That's what it is, and that's why he lost the title in the first place. They're taking him to a different direction.
I
like how they call him the Uber American now. That was
for me, I think his character he didn't need any refinement. I think they just needed to. I don't know. It's maybe put him with a manager, maybe work on his promos a little bit more, but in terms of what you could put out there in the ring, he was doing awesome. And now with the whole yodeling thing, I don't know.
He wasn't getting over. I mean, if he wasn't getting over, then he wasn't getting over.
Well, he's still not getting over.
But
Yeah, but you got to give it a chance. You never know. I mean, look at Fandango. People hated him and wanted him to just go away for how long, and now they love him.
Yeah, but that's when people would name him Fandango and all that crap, and not the whole not debuting thing. I think helped him a substantial amount. So
But I think that's the thing, though. He was supposed to be a heel, so people were supposed to boo him, and that's what they were booing him for. They were booing him for not wrestling. They were chanting, "You can't wrestle," when he wasn't wrestling, and very clearly he can.
well, what about Cesaro's case? Why do you think that he didn't get over?
he's bland.
Yeah, he's just an indie guy, and generally, as much as someone like CM Punk or even Daniel Bryan was able to get over, it's because they adapted themselves. Cesaro is not adapting himself.
His matches
very
are
well.
good. His strength is impressive, but his character is bland, and that's the problem.
And when he came in there, he really didn't do anything until he won the United States title. They kind of had him win that out of nowhere. He was
They
just kind of
hot-shotted that.
right,
They
and
hot-shotted
then
it because he wasn't doing anything. Yeah.
and then he didn't get any steam going until they started actually showcasing that he's good in the ring. And then he kind of got a little bit of some fanfare. I mean, people were buying into it, and people were like, "Holy crap, this guy's pretty strong," and all this. But then nothing else changed, and obviously the gimmick didn't get over. And without the gimmick getting over, when you have only the wrestling skills to go by, and you're not to say that he's not like a versatile performer or anything, but he's not doing crazy things one week to the next, and that's partially WWE's fault, where he's not switching it up constantly. Then people get tired of that after a while, and they
How
don't.
many people can he do his terrible finisher too, though?
Right. That's the uppercut looks really cool, but after you
Yeah, I
see
love
it
the
20
uppercut.
times, then
Well, I wasn't even talking about that. I'm talking about his act. The
The
uppercut, that should
neutralizer.
be his finisher.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
that's-
the thing where he grabs the
The
guy's
Styles,
crotch.
you mean the Styles Clash? Styles Clash, basically.
yeah, like
Kind of. It's different, but it's close. Yeah.
no, the
It's a
uppercut
variation
is
of
more
Styles
impressive,
Clash.
and when the what's he calling it, the neutralizer, that is like that's a horrible finisher, I think. So that's not even impressive, period. And if the uppercut doesn't even get a reaction anymore, the neutralizer certainly isn't going to. So
I think when you get to this level, and like everybody can wrestle for the most part. I mean, Great Khali exception, but you know what I mean. For the most part, most of the guys can wrestle and put on decent matches if you give them time. But your character has to get over, or it just doesn't work. And his match with Kofi for the title was really good. Like it was very enjoyable. But his character he's just not over, and he needed a character change. And in order to have a character change, he had to drop the title. And that's
I'm
why.
curious about the Kofi Kingston, like why they're giving it to Kofi though, because Kofi he's really like somebody that they throw the Intercontinental and U.S. title, and every once in a while the tag team titles on. Like they really like giving championships to Kofi, but they don't ever really like giving him anything to do with after he gets the championship. They love him being a transitional person.
I think this is
Yeah,
Kofi's
that's
ceiling,
it.
and this is every now and then he just wins one because this is what he's for.
He's the
he's
guy
a
who
yeah.
he's the guy who holds it until the next possible person comes along. And it's
Whether
sad to
that's
say.
Cody Rhodes or if it's
I don't
David
think it's
Sandow.
Cody Rhodes. I don't.
I think maybe if we see a Rhodes Scholars break up, we probably will see Sandow with the United States Championship.
I could see Fandango winning it actually from Kofi soon.
That could be
Yeah.
another logical choice.
I could see Big E Langston winning it.
I could see that a few months from now.
Right. Have him hold it for a little bit and feud with somebody like a Damian Sandow who should be Intercontinental Champion at some point. But not giving it to anybody and just kind of like stalling until they have some more matches with Big E or I mean it's not going to be well you never know. I mean they could always just change their mind, but I would doubt that it would be somebody like Kane or Big Show or Mark Henry. But you never know.
I can
think
see
he'll hold it
Fandango
for-
with the title in like a month. I can't see Big E holding it for a little while. It's gotta be 3-4 months from now.
Well, for me, I think they're going to try and test Fandango and see if he still can maintain the heat that he's getting at the moment and the attention that he's kind of getting before putting the title on him. But I think for Kofi, it just means he's going to have the title for probably about 2-3 months before they decide to make the title change to the next big heel.
It just goes back to Wade Barrett again.
Yeah, well, in that case, it's fine as long as they don't do a unification match, which I'm hoping doesn't happen.
They do a 2 out of 3 falls. Kofi Kingston versus Wade Barrett. First fall for the Intercontinental title. Second fall for the U.S. title.
I would love that, but it's got to be a triple threat at that point. Then you got to bring in like Cesaro or Sandow or somebody.
Book that indie style, baby.
That's fine. But I just don't want a unification match where they end up merging both titles because I think the mid-card roster needs.
I don't think they're going to unify the titles. I think they like having so many titles. It's more stuff they can sell on Shop Zone.
Yep.
That's what it is.
It's another thing to give somebody else to make them look important for a card instead of trying to figure out an actual storyline to go into.
Yeah, there's no money reason for them to unify the titles, so they won't. It's the same reason they won't unify the WWE and World titles.
Unless they just wanted to create a different title instead. Like if they wanted to unify the United States and Intercontinental
They could just
Championship.
make up another title if they were going to do that.
Yeah, but they could unify the United States and Intercontinental and bring back. I mean, they're not going to do it, but bring back like the hardcore title and be like, well, now that's going to be our gimmick that we're going to go with. Or
oh god, that got old very quickly.
I missed the hardcore title. It was so fun.
I don't. That piece of trash needs to stay gone.
I would have thought if they were going to do it, they would have done it with Antonio Cesaro in the European Championship.
I thought so as well because they kind of hinted at it on the SmackDown versus Raw 2012, where they had Sheamus win the United States Championship and then drop it for the European title instead. So they have these sort of ideas, and I think that with the WWE, it's kind of a passing phase. Let's unify the titles one day. Actually, let's not do that. Oh, let's reinvigorate the tag team division. Oh, let's not do that.
Let's make them big copper pennies.
Yeah. It's just whatever people are feeling at the moment. So, it's a shame because they've got a huge mid-card roster and sort of a lower card roster as well that they could elevate very quickly. And so far, it is early days after WrestleMania, but they need to start looking into that and hopefully elevating these guys up and bringing these guys and giving them more TV time because you've got literally... You have about 7 to 8 hours of television a week on WWE's side of things. I might be wrong there.
3 hours of Raw.
Probably 6.
How long is main event?
No, 8 hours. If you count NXT and Superstars as well, yeah, you've got 8 hours of television.
Yeah, I count everything.
Saturday Morning Slam, main event.
They have all those.
Yeah, 9 hours. So you've got 9 hours of television. You're telling me that they cannot focus,
That's what I'm saying. If they bring back, if they expand more titles, I like that idea. And maybe, set up divisions. Like, I like how one good thing TNA has done in the last couple of years has made the X division and put a weight limit on the X division.
Well, do you know, and this is something new that TNA are trialing, and I laughed. I literally laughed. I had a big belly laugh from this. They have set up a ref cam for the X Division
That's
matches.
a good hot tag
So
to talk about. I think that's stupid.
they've
Gimmick.
they've not only made all X Division matches for the title freeway matches,
Pisses me off.
they have set up a ref cam. So now you can watch all the action from the referee's perspective.
Does it have a microphone attached to it? Because then you'd be just hearing them go, "We have 5 minutes, guys." And like,
5 minutes. Let's go.
I haven't watched it yet. Apparently, it debuts on this week's Impact, so I'm going to watch it tomorrow because I've kind of, not watched Impact for the past couple of weeks. I've just been watching all the vignettes with the Aces and Eights and all the promos that Bully Ray's been doing, and that's pretty much it. I just skip through because it's not.
How much you want to bet at some point in time in the Ace and Eights gimmick during this Aces? I can't even fucking say the name during this Aces and Eights.
you're pulling a Taz.
Gimmick thing. I know. I can't say it right, brother. I can't say it right, brother. That's my horrible Taz impersonation.
You sound like Macho Man.
No, I do a much better Macho Man. I think.
Just say what you were gonna say.
I know. Well, he's getting me started. How much you want to bet during some time in this Aces and Eights angle, Hulk Hogan is going to be a part of Aces and Eights?
I would guarantee it.
It's going to happen, brother.
It's either that or
gonna
it's going to end up winning the TNA Championship from Bully Ray.
There's so many twists and swerves in this damn Aces and Eights thing that it's confusing and convoluted. Like,
Exactly.
Technically, I like the angle. Technically, if they keep it the way it is, with Bully Ray and his boys,
Technically?
that's it. Technically, the reason being, I don't understand why they've got D'Lo Brown. I don't understand why Garrett Bischoff is a part of this, and they've got loads of sort of lower level type guys in it, and they also have this thing with AJ Styles where he's the new Sting, sort of Mr. Brooding and kind of tweenerish.
I thought AJ was drunk. I didn't know he was the new Sting. I don't know.
Hey, AJ's going to start standing on top of the rafters.
He literally comes to the ring, watches from ringside, brooding, looking like an emo bitch, and it's literally the whole sort of Crow Sting gimmick done badly.
He's going to start coming out with a lacrosse stick, not a bat, not a baseball bat.
A cricket bat.
A cricket bat.
Yeah, instead of a sort of an eagle or something like that, or freaking, he'll come out with a pigeon.
Yeah, something like that.
He'll just come out with booze.
Well, going on that topic, I've got a nice little tidbit for you guys as well. The Rock apparently is being made to retire by Hollywood due to the fact that he's been injured from this past year's WrestleMania in his abdominal area, thus not being able to complete his contractual agreement with Pain and Gain, where he's supposed to be promoting the show, and he apparently can't get out of bed to do so. What do you guys think of that? Do you think? Do you mind that maybe the Rock's last match was with Cena?
Still going to happen. Thrice in a lifetime. I'm still sticking by it. Thrice in a lifetime.
Well, apparently Hollywood would beg to differ.
Well, you know what?
Hollywood doesn't own The Rock.
Hollywood doesn't own The Rock.
What do you think, Tony?
They better not do thrice in a lifetime.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
You might as well start accepting it now.
Trust your feelings, Tony. You know it to be true.
That's impossible.
So yeah, it's a big thing. I don't see what's going to happen, because the thing about it is this could end up breaking him in terms of his star power. So, if he says no, I'm still going to do it, a lot of companies aren't going to take that many chances on him in terms of starring roles and stuff. And at the moment, well, in part thanks to WWE, he's can pick and choose his roles. He doesn't have to. He's not segregated to doing Disney movies where he plays a tooth fairy. So I don't know. I think this is the last we're going to see of him, in my opinion.
Anybody else have any other hot tags you want to throw out there?
I'm mad Barrett lost on Monday. I'll say that.
Why are you mad that Barrett lost?
He just got the belt, and they had him jobbed to R-Truth.
Yeah, but they needed to make a credible number one contender.
A week later?
It's like what they did with Bret Hart and the Patriot. Come on. Who did he beat to get a title shot? He beat you.
He needs to get some credibility behind him before he goes jobbing to R-Truth not on TV in 3 months.
Should I take Braden's spot here and say that's because he's English? And WWE doesn't like that he's English.
Yeah, go on a huge tirade. And then say 30 seconds afterwards.
Well, that brings up one thing that we could talk about, how there was such a difference between this week's Raw and the crowd from last week.
It's because this week's crowd was left over from WrestleMania in New York City, and this week they were in Greenville, South Carolina.
Right,
aren't the Carolinas supposed to be a hotbed for wrestling?
I think it's a hotbed for wrestling, but it's a different kind of crowd. They like, it's pretty old school. It's heel and face. You know, the heels don't really get that well of a reception. That's why you saw the reception for Ziggler was kind of mixed.
They could have killed Fandango on Monday. They should be ashamed of themselves.
They really made that look like a one-time thing. I mean, it might have been, but
I think he's going to get a really big reaction next week in the UK.
Oh, UK is going to pick things right back up. It's going to make this week seem forgettable. Thank goodness.
Yeah, as soon as I heard that, because I never even knew that tickets were available for the UK show, I was like, no! I was going to actually go in there with the audience and go, da-da, da-da, with the rest of them.
Now you have to do it in your living room.
I have to in my living room now, on my laptop.
You could still probably find tickets.
Yeah, you could.
I think it's sold out.
Top shelf kind of things if you wanted to.
Yeah, tickets are usually available even like the day of. Like you just go buy them.
Well,
I don't know how it is in the UK, but like here, you know,
But they also have shows all the time here. When they do a show there, it's a.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I said. It might be different because it's the UK, but usually here, we don't ever.
Our shows usually sell out quickly, and it's because it's sort of sparse. It's few and far in between because we have so many divisions. Like you would have inside sort of London, United Kingdom, then you have sort of that the outer parts of the UK, and then you're going up to like Scotland and Wales and all that lot. So depending what part of the UK they go to, that usually depends on what if it sells or not. But usually we never have any tickets available. It's always usually a sellout.
Anything else anybody want to touch upon or anything?
How about that Ryback promo? Did that remind anybody else of an old Psycho Sid promo?
It did, yeah.
It reminded me of an episode of Family Guy with all the flashbacks.
I thought it was unique. It was something different they're doing for promos, and it really helps a guy like Ryback, who, if you just gave him a mic on a stage, he might not have worked out as well.
It's literally the same thing Bully Ray did like 3 weeks ago. Literally.
Yeah, that's
okay, except people watched it.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying.
They seem to be biting a lot of TNA tricks. But that's probably a testament to what Eric Bischoff's doing, not a testament to what TNA is doing.
I still don't like
was how they made him look. He got in Cena's face and he called him out, and then when Cena wanted to fight, he backed off. I know he's supposed to be a heel, but he is too big to back off like a pussy. And then like it made the whole thing with the Shield coming down confusing, because then they like the commentators like assumed that he was gonna help Cena take out the Shield, even though like he just like left, and then the Shield just like didn't touch Ryback.
Yeah, it was quite funny how they sort of went in there, they were beating on Cena and looking at Ryback to see if he's going to do anything, and then beat on Cena a bit more.
I don't like this Ryback heel turn.
I think it's too early.
I think it could be good.
Too early for a Ryback heel turn.
The reason that I think it's too early and that I don't like it and all that is because if they're not going to have John Cena lose right now, and Ryback has lost every single important match that he's ever had.
Yeah, he needs the steam back, and he's not going to get it feuding with John Cena.
No, because he's going to lose at Extreme Rules again.
He's the reverse of Punk's title reign, the Punk streak.
Yeah, this is going to be every time that they keep trying to make Ryback look strong, they do something that completely goes against it. And like, no matter how much of a badass he looks against John Cena, if he loses, Ryback just lost another match, and then it's like, At that point, you might as well have him go home for a couple months and come back as a different character, because then people will be like, well, the difference between Ryback and Skip Sheffield, like Ryback's losing
Yep.
all of his steam. Like, it doesn't matter if he turns heel if he continues to lose.
Yep.
Well, I'm calling it now. I believe he's going to probably win his match against Cena at Extreme Rules.
What?
Disqualification.
That's not the same thing.
What's Extreme?
Winning by DQ.
He didn't say he he's going to win the title, but he'll win the match.
Yeah.
If you can get disqualified, if it's an Extreme Rules kind of a situation, you usually can't.
Yeah.
If
he wins by DQ, he doesn't look strong anyway.
If it's a normal match, he'll end up, winning either by a DQ or by count or something like that. But if it's an Extreme Rules match and it's sort of an anything goes, he's screwed.
And then
when a match ends in a DQ, it's almost like it ended in a tie anyway. So he still didn't win another big match. It's still the same thing.
And then if at the next pay-per-view he loses, then he would still have to win the title at the next pay-per-view to be able to make it mean something. And they're not going to have John Cena lose at that pay-per-view either, unless of course
he's losing at least his next two pay-per-views for sure.
Right.
And that's gonna.
I don't see Cena losing the title at all.
No, me neither. They'll have it until
getting
WrestleMania.
a win or two, probably in tag matches or, as I said, maybe by DQ or by count out. But I don't see him pinning Cena in the middle of the ring, unless it's like sort of a mixed match maybe.
Brian, you're biased because you have John Cena on your team.
No, not really. It's more so because of you look at the last year how Cena was booked, and this year they're gonna basically book him stronger. It's sort of the WWE's way of saying, we push Punk, we're gonna push you as well.
I think he's got it until SummerSlam. I don't think he's gonna keep it until WrestleMania, because they just did that a whole year-long thing with CM Punk. I don't think they're going to want to do a whole year-long thing with John Cena.
Well, they used to have titles for a long period of time. Like, even recently, like, Cena had the title for longer than this. Punk's is longer than Cena's, but Cena had, like, a huge, long reign from, like, 2006 through 7. Like, he had it forever, so it's not...
He would have had it longer if he didn't get injured, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he would have... Yeah. I don't think he would have lost it I don't think Orton would have beat him at No Mercy. I think he would have kept holding it. Probably through WrestleMania.
I think he's going to lose it around SummerSlam, because John Cena, he has to sometimes take time off. And
who's he going to lose it to, though? Because there's nobody positioned on the roster. Even in the next few months, I don't think anyone would be ready to take it.
Okay, guys, here you go. Armchair booking here. He loses it to, astonishment, his ex-wife.
Oh!
He already lost everything to his ex-wife.
He didn't lose shit to his ex-wife. Are you serious?
She gets it, like, she ends up getting
I don't know how their divorce settlement went.
Was that an intentional joke?
It seemed like an open joke to make.
Was that an intentional joke? He lost his shit? I had to call attention to it. If that's about it, then I guess that kind of wraps up the hot tags and all the rambling that we just did with, and it kind of wraps up the episode. The only thing left to do is talk about some plugs, and the first plug, of course, is the Sign Me Up one. Bring a Smark Out Moment sign to any kind of a wrestling event, one way or the other, and send me it, and I'll put it up on the show and everything like that. You guys know where to follow all the other kind of stuff. It's in the outro. So let's move on. Let's go with Jester first.
Hey, you guys can follow me at ThatJesterKid on Twitter. That's all I really got. I tweet cool stuff. It's funny stuff.
And let's go with Burhan.
As always, you can catch me on www.nerdgenius.com, fanboysanonymous.com, and also on I Got Gameplay, and various other projects that I have going on. If you'd like to check out I Got Gameplay, you can check it out on Stitcher, iTunes, Zune, and BlackBerry Podcasts. And sooner or later, we'll get ourselves on Real Player.
Real Player.
I want to buy VHSs of his show. Can we get VHSs of the show?
Only
yes.
No, but for $29.95, Michael Burhan will give you a full written transcript of the show.
But also, just to announce as well, we're going to be debuting hopefully a monthly live cast for I Got Gameplay. So once a month, we're going to do a live show with myself and my current co-hosts. Mike Hayden, Brandon Ligan, and Sean Mitchell. Just give a shout out to you guys as well.
All right, Brandon, throw some plugs out there.
I'm going to throw some plugs. Plugs coming your way. DreamEliteRadio.com, where I host not one, but now 2 shows. I host my own little pet project, Sportaholics Anonymous, where I talk sports with people who talk sports. It's a sports show by sports fans. No, we don't really do it anonymously. It's a sports show for people who yell at the television. That's what I kind of self-describe it as. If you sit and watch any kind of sporting event and you yell at the television while it's going on, this is your kind of show. That's every Wednesday, 8 p.m. DreamElite.com/radio, BlogTalkRadio.com/DreamElite. Also Keeping Kayfabe podcast, but for that, I'm going to leave it to Peyton. That's about it.
All right, so I guess I'll pick up where he left off. So I'll be pushing the Keeping Kayfabe podcast, where wrestling is still real to us.
Damn it!
We are actually fresh off our heels off our first episode where we just joined up with the Blog Talk Radio Dream Elite family. So we're excited to be on Blog Talk Radio, even though our first one had some technical problems with them. They seem to be having problems website-wide, so it wasn't just in particular to us. But going forward, Thursdays every week at 9 p.m., you can listen to the Keeping Kayfabe podcast at blogtalkradio.com/Dream Elite. You can call in, you can tweet to us, and we'll have all types of conversation going. So if you're listening to this, you enjoy wrestling podcasts, please join us on the other one because there's even more wrestling talk going on over there. And Newbie TV, NEW-B.TV is another web channel I'm running. I actually just spent today looking at a potential studio for us. So there should be more video content coming out for Newbie TV. So certainly be checking that out. And that's pretty much all the projects I got going. Follow me at Twitter, at Mr. Payton, Facebook, Mr. Payton. And that's all. Thanks, Anthony. Oh, and we just finished our draft, by the way. So I'm going to be posting a graphic that I've been making during the entirety of this episode. Because I wasn't. That's what I do, multitasking. I got our rosters all set up there. So if you people who are curious, you can go and see who we got picked there. Better yet, if you want to listen to the episode, it will be available on iTunes and YouTube. So check that out.
And if you guys want to follow one of us and actually work with our team, like vote for Team Burhan or go for Team Jester or Team Payton or Team Lagan, you won't win shit for it, but give us some kudos.
Yeah, whoever makes the early predictions of who they like now can have that much more fun saying "I told you so" come WrestleMania next year.
I'm
bragging rights, baby.
I'm just gonna let everyone know now that Brodus Clay is on Team Mango, so there's someone to watch for.
Right.
Somebody call his mama.
All right. That does it for episode 76. I'm gonna close out with something that I'll never do again, and never did before, and all that. But I'll plug, as cheesy as it sounds, just a little plug out there for my dad. And the reason I want to do that is because my dad's one of the main reasons why I became a wrestling fan. I mean, he was the person that I watched wrestling with as a kid, and he took me to the shows. I might edit this out. I don't know.
No, you're doing
God, dude, fuck it.
Stay strong. Stay strong, bro.
But he's the guy that I would watch Raw with. So, he was always proud that I was doing this kind of a show, and he always thought it was cool. And I never had a chance to get him on it, partially because he wouldn't have had an idea what the hell was going on. But he always thought it was really interesting. And I mean, he checked it out every once in a while. He always checked the website out and all that, and always thought that it was really cool. And it was something that we bonded over and everything. And that'll be something that's missing from the world of wrestling for me. So just to throw that out there. And that's it for episode 76. Next week, we'll probably have a specialty post if I'm able to do it at the time. We might have the healer face that we were going to do before with Alberto Del Rio. We might have Belt or Bury with Dolph Ziggler. We might have there's a lot of different options, and it all kind of depends on what I'm dealing with at the time and all that. Check out the website and see if anything's changed and all that. And stay tuned for the next episode and all that. Thanks again for everybody for doing the show, everybody for listening, everybody out there that's contributed in one way or another. And this has been another Smark Out moment. We're being counted out. Adios, everybody.
Yole, ole, ole, ole,
Oh, this game's gonna take off.